From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, February 10th. Today is not going to be quite as warm as it has been. A few snow showers are possible, mainly in the morning hours. Highs look to top out in the upper 20s to mid-30s. And the freeze and thaw is once again leading to potholes, something that we're pretty used to here in Indiana. There was a giant one on I-65 in Lebanon last night. Crews worked into the overnight hours trying to get it patched after several people hit it and blew out their tires. As far as the Indy metro area, city leaders say the same crews who plow are the ones that are out there working to fill the potholes.
I think it's always pothole season, but this is the time of year where they really start to open up. This is the time of year where the freeze-thaw cycle accelerates the deterioration that people are seeing on streets. And especially after we have a weather event like we did just this past weekend, you get all that snow scraped off and there's some potholes left behind.
As they're taking the time to fill the potholes, DPW says the crews are using cold asphalt right now since hot asphalt isn't available until next month. This means the potholes aren't going away anytime soon, so drivers need to pay extra attention, and your communities are relying on you to report the potholes so they can be fixed. If you hit one that hasn't been reported, then the city is not liable to reimburse you for repairs. You can report them by going to indy.gov and clicking on the Report Potholes tab. The chief of police at Purdue says the department is reviewing a recent arrest and the use of force in it. It appears to be a response to a video posted on social media that shows someone in a police uniform holding another man down, at times with his arm on the man's throat, while the man struggles. Police Chief John Cox gives few details in his statement. He says that the department will do an internal review of an incident that happened Friday night that started when an officer went to a call of a woman possibly being held against her will. Cox says no one was hurt and that the department will talk with witnesses and review body camera video. Cox says the department will release the video and other information when the review is finished. And the man accused of shooting a Gary police detective is now formally charged. Online court records show Cameron Cooks faces 4 felony counts, including attempted murder. Police say Cooks ambushed Sergeant William Fazekas Monday during a traffic stop. Police say Fazekas took cover inside his vehicle but was shot in the shoulder. Officers arrested Cooks later in the day at an abandoned home nearby. As of the most recent update from police, Fazekas is stable in the hospital. Cooks has not appeared in court yet. Indianapolis police are sharing new information about a missing woman. Police say Paris Williamson was last seen by her family January 30th and that her vehicle was last seen traveling the very next day. IMPD thinks Williamson was driving a 2008 Chevy Impala with license plate 394NFV. Her last known location was traveling southbound at Emerson Avenue and County Line Road. As we've reported, Williamson's family received a tip that someone may have seen her at the Horseshoe Casino in Shelbyville that day. Her family reported her missing on February 4th. They became worried when her job called, saying the 33-year-old didn't show up for work all week. News 8 spoke with Williamson's family earlier this week. They told us that Williamson is an accomplished woman who stays on top of her obligations, and abandoning her responsibilities at home is another red flag.
I just hope that everyone is all hands on deck and use every tool possible to find her because she is loved. She's a bright young lady and, she has a great career.
Williamson's father says she is a successful insurance agency representative. Anyone with information should contact police at 317-327-6293. A Southside nursing home says it's cooperating with a rape and murder investigation. As I talked about on the podcast yesterday, Dwayne Freeman is accused of killing a resident there. According to an affidavit, a nurse went into the victim's room around 5 the morning of February 2nd to give medicine. The nurse found Freeman on top of the woman with a pillow on her face. The documents say the woman was naked and Freeman was only wearing a shirt. The woman was later pronounced dead.
Although the facility within itself may be a shock for residents in the area to kind of comprehend, any one homicide in our city is unfortunate.
At least 2 people have died in 2 separate crashes on I-70. The first happened near Greenfield yesterday afternoon. State police tweeted that it involved 1 vehicle. A few hours later, Hancock County police responded to a crash near State Road 109. The sheriff there didn't say how many people were involved or what caused the crash. Also, no word on the names of either person killed. The administrators of the National Archives want to know how former President Trump handled White House records. Following reports in the Washington Post, a request asks the Justice Department to find out whether Trump violated federal law. The reports claim Trump tore up documents a number of times and took 15 boxes of papers to Mar-a-Lago. Federal law requires administrations to turn over all presidential records when a president leaves office. The House committee investigating the Capitol insurrection is now asking former White House trade advisor Peter Navarro for information. The subpoena comes after Navarro published a book detailing his own efforts to delay 2020 election results. The January 6th committee accuses Navarro of also promoting false claims about voter fraud. Here, you'll hear Navarro in an interview with MSNBC in November of 2020.
We were going to challenge the results of the election in the 6 battleground states.
Navarro issued a statement in response to the committee's subpoena, saying in part that it is a bipartisan witch hunt. He says the group should be negotiating with the president and his attorneys rather than with him. And we are hearing the arguments this morning from both sides of a controversial transgender athlete bill moving through the Indiana State House. The bill would prevent transgender girls from playing K-12 girls' sports. Parents who oppose and support the bill gave passionate testimony in front of lawmakers yesterday.
He spent 7 days in the hospital recently because of this, and a lot of it has to do with it's hard to be at school when you're a transgender student. Kids are thinking about this.
We feel bad for kids that have a hard time discovering who they are. But the answer cannot be cheating our girls out of an opportunity to be a champion. We just can't be. And I want to make sure that my daughter isn't cheated out of that.
The bill passed through the House last month. The committee did not vote yesterday, and we don't know if the chair plans to bring it up for a vote at the panel's next meeting either. In the same week, the CDC said it would stick with its mask guidance. The agency's director says the guidance could now change. Dr. Walensky cites the drop in hospitalizations for this reconsideration, although no timeline has been given. This comes as even states with the strictest mask mandates are starting to drop those. Dr. Walensky says the decision should be up to local leaders.
As I understand it, and many of these decisions are using a phased approach. Not all of these decisions are being made to stop things tomorrow, but they're looking at a phased approach. And so what I would say is, again, they have to be done at the local level.
According to the CDC, nearly 102,700 people are in the hospital with COVID-19 across the U.S. In Indiana, the CDC reports more than 2,000 people are hospitalized from the virus. Truck drivers are protesting COVID vaccine mandates could hit the road in the U.S. soon. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security warned law enforcement about reports of a convoy similar to one in Ottawa, Canada. DHS says drivers could block roads in major cities in protest. That could impact Sunday's Super Bowl in Los Angeles.
If you don't make any changes now, we're going to lose all freedom.
I even made and sold masks at the beginning of this. But you know what? When you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity.
Experts say the convoy could make supply chain issues worse. Bob Saget's family says he died from a head injury. The family of the comedian and actor released a statement last night saying authorities believe he accidentally hit the back of his head on something, thought nothing of it, and went to sleep. The statement adds that no drugs or alcohol were involved. Saget's body was found in a hotel room in Florida a month ago. He was 65 years old. And as we do each Thursday, Scott Sander and I sat down to talk Indiana biz with Gary Dick on Daybreak. Here's that conversation.
Esports dominates the Inside Indiana business this week. We're proud to partner with them and IBJ to bring you the best business coverage in the state of Indiana.
Gary Dick is host of Inside Indiana Business, joins us each week with kind of a look ahead. It occurs to me Indianapolis may be doing for esports what it did with amateur sports years ago, turn into a capital.
Interesting, guys. You know, Indianapolis has hosted a Super Bowl, a college football national championship, Final Fours multiple times. Everyone's wondering what's next. This may be one of those what's next things. Esports is huge, the fastest growing sport out there. Expected to have about 30 million viewers this year alone and growing, a multi-billion-dollar industry, if you will. Quite a win for Indianapolis to host the 5th season, the entire season of the NBA 2K League. They've been working on this for some months now. I talked talked to some folks a few months ago. They kind of gave me a little insight. They thought this might be a long shot to get this, but in fact, they did get the win this ability to host the entire season here. Going to have a studio in the Pan Am Plaza, the pavilion at Pan Am Plaza. And what this does, too, is it brings eyeballs, young eyeballs on Indianapolis and Indiana, a growing sport, the attention of the media, a lot of things as you talk about attracting and keeping talent. This fits into that. Plus, you look at the universities and colleges all over the state of Indiana. Everybody's got an esports team now, esports arena. We saw Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing yesterday in Ball State announcing a scholarship. So it may not just be football and golf and baseball scholarship, esports scholarships.
I do believe my kids, if I allowed them, would watch videos of other people playing games all day long.
Never thought I'd get there. Now I'll sit and watch Rocket League with Owen and think to myself, what am I doing?
Have you seen some of these esports competitions on ESPN?
Yes.
It's unbelievable. We're going to see it here in
It's intense. Very cool. Okay. An international agricultural company coming to Indiana.
Yeah, Corteva, which is an outgrowth, if you will, of Dow AgroSciences, which is on the northwest side of Indianapolis, and Dow DuPont. This is a spin out their big ag bioscience company. Big win this week for Indianapolis and for Indiana. Corteva, which has been headquartered in Delaware since the 1800s. So they're going to make Indianapolis its global headquarters. Again, that is a win. It's a company with 21,000 employees worldwide. We've got about 2,000 employees here. And guys, a couple of years ago, I was told from people who were in the room that as this was happening, it was not only possible, it was probable. Dow AgroSciences, this whole investment, this thing was going to leave Indianapolis. It was going to go elsewhere to like Iowa. A lot of work on the part of governors and mayors, Indiana Economic Development Corporation, to keep it here, keep a $15 billion business here, and now to get the global headquarters, a big win.
Time short because I geeked out about video games. Give us a sneak peek ahead at the Inside Indiana.
Much more on Corteva, what that is going to mean to Indianapolis and Indiana, the dirty job of changing diapers in remote locations. We've got an entrepreneur, Cathedral and DePaul grad, who has an interesting idea there. Bengals, the run to the Super Bowl, will go to Southeast Indiana on that story. Plus, our partners at the Indianapolis Business Journal have more on the future of Circle Center Mall. Eli Lilly and Company's Alzheimer's drug could hit a brick wall. And a new craft spirits distillery at the Indiana State Fairgrounds year-round.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there you heard Gary mention it, the NBA 2K League. The league's president says Indianapolis will be the perfect host city based on previous hosting experience.
This is a capital of basketball across the world. And there's such fandom here, both on the NBA side and the 2K side, frankly. And obviously, Indianapolis has shown time and time again that they are incredible hosts. And frankly, that they have the foresight to invest in bringing on esports to the city.
The schedule includes both remote and in-person games. According to Indiana Sports Corp, some teams will only travel to Indianapolis for the in-person studio competitions, while others will stay in Indianapolis for longer periods of time. Fans will be able to attend. The league hasn't announced, though, the ticket information. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says the league has fallen short in efforts to hire a more diverse group of coaches. The comments came in his annual pre-Super Bowl news conference. He says the league has made progress, but not enough.
I think we made a tremendous amount, a lot of progress in a lot of areas, but not at the head coach. And that is something that is something we really had focused on to try to get the kind of results that we would expect. And we fell short of that by a long shot for us.
Former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores has filed a racial discrimination suit against the league and several teams. Goodell did not discuss the suit during yesterday's speech. A new partnership is giving Ball State students a chance to take esports to the next level. The Ball State esports team is teaming up with Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing to bring new technology to the program. Two $5,000 scholarships will also be awarded to team members through the 25-26 academic years. Ball State alum and RLL team co-owner David Letterman says this is just the beginning.
I think it's the way of all sports. I think this is going to be the equivalent, if not usurp, traditional avenues into sports.
The team up will also allow students to be involved in Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing at community events. And to the Beijing Olympics now, Team USA's Nathan Chen is bringing home a gold medal in figure skating. Chen scored 332.6 points for his men's free skate performance. That's only 3 points off from the world record he already set. He is the first American figure skating champion since 2010. American Chloe Kim is going home with her second gold for the women's snowboarding halfpipe. Kim struggled during practice with the first run and then was excited to land it when it came to time to compete.
So it just felt unreal to be able to do that and pull it off. So I'm honestly, I can't believe it, and I'm just so grateful I was able to do that, and really proud of myself for being able to push through and overcome that big mental battle I had before going into my first run.
Kim took home the gold 4 years ago in Pyeongchang. Now, let's talk U.S. standings in the rankings and medals. Germany has the most golds with 5. The U.S. is tied with the Netherlands and China at 3. As far as medals overall, Austria is in the lead with 12. The USA has 9. Russia's 15-year-old star figure skater tested positive for an illegal heart medication before the game started. It could cost Russia the gold for the team figure skating and Kamila Valieva her chance in the individual competition. Athletes are competing as the Russian Olympic Committee, as they have in the recent Olympics. Russia was banned from competing after a state-sponsored doping scandal at the 2014 Sochi Olympics.
And I just wanted to let you know that, I wanted to give you 2 tickets to the Super Bowl to bring anybody you like, maybe Miss Betty, to come chill and hang out at the Super Bowl with us.
Colts cornerback Kenny Moore is paying back a pivotal person in his life. He's taking Joseph Davis to the big game. The surprise plays out in a new post from the Colts community relations team, which says Davis coached Moore in youth football, youth basketball, and youth baseball. The trip is a perk from Moore's selection as a Walter Payton Man of the Year candidate. He gets to invite 2 important people to the Super Bowl.
I think everything you do is more of an inspiration to me than anything I've ever done for you. You turn out to be great, Kenny. And I love the fact.
Davis went on to say he loves Moore's willingness to always give back to the community. Finally, we are 10 years removed from the Super Bowl in Indianapolis. Super Bowl 46 saw Eli Manning and the Giants' comeback win over the rival Patriots. Our Charlie Clifford took a look at how, even a decade later, the memories from the big game remain.
I started crying.
It was $1 million party.
Insane. Incredible.
7 years of planning for 7 days of the Super Bowl. 10 years later, the tales of those on the inside remain timeless.
We had over 1 million people that came to the Village in 10 days. And it was like a sea of people every single day, wall to wall. I ran into people that I hadn't seen for years. I ran into Mayor Hudnut. He just started crying, and he hugged me, and he said, I can't believe this is our city.
There was a moment where I realized I could not go into the Village anymore. Frankly, I was trying to get from Meridian, Georgia, up to Pennsylvania and Georgia to go get a cinnamon roll. And a half hour later, I was half a block up because everybody wanted a picture. It wasn't necessarily me. It's the fact that I represented the city. That was powerful. That was an emotional moment.
Giants, Patriots, and celebrities intersecting with Hoosier hospitality in the case of Giants head coach Tom Coughlin. This was tested down to the minute.
The GM will greet the head coach, the football team, take him up to his room, get him settled, make sure he's set, and then boom, go about your business. He goes, can you do me a favor by tomorrow morning? I need a clock in every one of these meeting rooms. Do me one more favor, just make sure they're set so they're 5 minutes fast. Going to the cafeteria pulling clocks, it's like, okay, we need 12 more, let's go find them.
My section, I was waiting on Mike Ditka and his crew. Another table I had, 2 tables down, was Larry Fitzgerald, Kurt Warner, the commissioner, movie stars.
During that time, we were worried about Peyton maybe going somewhere else. So I've joked that the weather gods and the football gods got together and brokered a deal, said, you're going to lose Peyton, we're going to give you good weather.
Downtown at the Wish TV Super Bowl studio, on the outside, it should have looked like this. Instead, the temperatures that week, you remember, in the 50s. It was almost as wild as the zip line ride. That just a small example that Indy, as a Super Bowl host city, prioritized fun over fake.
It was our responsibility to show the world what Indy was. How many thank you notes I got after from Mike Tirico and Tony Dungy and the president of NBC, all saying, we've never met people like there are there.
Actually, they weren't sure if they wanted to come to Indy, and people said, hands down, it's been the best Super Bowl experience ever.
Oh my God, look at Indianapolis. We are really doing this. We are really this kind of city.
If anybody's listening out there, the commissioner, Indianapolis is ready. We did probably the best of anybody, and we're ready for another one.
Charlie Clifford, All Access Indy, LA.
This has been your News 8 Daily 8. For Wish TV, I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.